Hello, Calvary Church Family. This is Pastor Andrew, and I'm in my office here at the church. Since Newfoundland has moved to Alert Level 2 last week, many of you have been wondering, and some of you have asked, what we're doing as a church. You heard the regulations and heard the announcement that church buildings can open up again. Well, I want to give some answers, and I want to explain it the best way I can about what our church board has decided and what our denomination, the Pentecostal Assemblies of Newfoundland and Labrador, have decided. Although it'd be nice for us to all gather back together, and we are wanting to do that so badly, reopening a church is not as easy as unlocking the door and opening it and everyone coming in. There are major regulations and major restrictions still on what you can and cannot do inside a building. For example, the maximum of 50 people, including all volunteers and all ushers and musicians, everybody. 50 people is the maximum. No congregational singing whatsoever allowed in any building. No singing in any kind of buildings whatsoever. And the regulations continue on and on and on. So a few days ago, the Pentecostal Assemblies Newfoundland and Labrador, the general executive officers and the general executive committee sent out a letter to all the pastors and boards requesting that all churches close their buildings until September. Now, this may be hard for us to hear, but I think it's a wise decision. It allows churches to prepare and get the proper things in place to open up safely and securely in September. You see, we have to order things for sanitation. We have to get people in place to do what needs to be done in between services. And it's a lot of work to get that ready. And so they decided to close the church buildings for the month of July and August and reassess later in September. Now, I know some of you have said, and people have asked me, is this persecution? I'm not convinced this is persecution against the church. Let me explain what I think it is. Churches naturally have a high volume of contact. Think about this. When you come to Calvary, someone opens the door for you and they shake your hand right away. One contact. Then you walk in the foyer, and sometimes we'll have coffee and tea and things for kids to eat Sunday mornings. There's food, contact there. Almost every Sunday there's someone wanting to talk to you in the foyer and shake your hand and give you a hug, another point of contact. Going into the sanctuary, our church over the last couple of years has grown an awful lot. And now there's hardly ever a spare seat in the sanctuary. Every seat is used. And so you're sitting close together in the sanctuary. You're singing, and singing is a number one way to transmit a sickness or virus. And so all along the way, the points in and before the service, in the service, and after the service, there's lots of contact and lots of things that many of us, we don't even think about. It's an easy way for a virus, if someone were to have it, to spread. So I'm not convinced it's persecution on the church because other organizations are limited and the same regulations apply to them. I just think as a church we need to continue to modify what we do to help provide the safest and best experience for you and your family. So, as a church board, we have made some decisions moving forward, and I want to share them with you because I hope that you're going to like them. I think that they're good decisions as we move forward. Our church board has decided to continue our Sunday morning service online at 10 a.m. These services have been wonderful and have reached thousands of people. And so we're going to continue our services at 10 a.m. on our Facebook page and also our YouTube channel. And we're going to continue that over the summer. But here's the part I know many of you are asking about, and we're going to let you know. Our board has also decided to host drive-in services on Sunday evenings at 4 p.m. Now, I'll give you a reason why we chose 4 p.m. Typically, we do open-air services and drive-in services at 6 p.m. But this 4 p.m. Time is chosen to allow young families to come and enjoy the service as well. I have 2 young kids, and around 6 o'clock, they are starting to get ready to go to bed. And we want everyone in our church to be able to come and enjoy this service. And so we chose a time in the later afternoon, early evening, to allow young families to also participate in these services. So at 4 p.m., and they're going to be starting on July the 12th. Well, why not this Sunday? Again, there's a lot of regulations that go along with drive-in services. It's not as easy as just setting up a microphone and having the people show up. There's some regulations that we'll explain to you in the coming days that we're going to have to abide by to do this within the policy and do it safely. Now, I haven't told you where we're going to host the drive-in service because we are in talks with the town of Clarenville, and I'm just waiting for the final confirmation about a location in our town that I think will work perfect for our drive-in services. So we will not be having a drive-in service this Sunday, which is the 5th of July. We'll hopefully be having, weather permitting, a drive-in service on the 12th of July at 4 p.m. So every Sunday morning, 10 a.m., there will be a service online, and then in the month of July and hopefully in the month of August, we'll be having a drive-in service on Sunday evenings at 4 p.m. at a location. I can't tell you just yet, but if we get this location, and it's looking like we will, if we get this location, I think it will serve us wonderful and will be a great place for us to do it. You see, moving everything online has given us the ability to continue to offer worship and give opportunities to worship and hear preaching. Many of you have been to more church in the last 4 months than you had in your whole entire life. There's things that you can transfer pretty easily online. But one thing that you can't transfer online that we're all missing is the fellowship. And unfortunately, still because of the restrictions and still because of the risk of COVID-19, we can't have the fellowship the same way. So I'm going to encourage you, once our drive-in services are approved and ready to go, I'm going to encourage you to make the effort to come at the 4 p.m. time and join together. I would love to see this particular parking lot. I can't tell you where it's yet, but I would love to see this parking lot filled with families and with moms and dads and aunts and uncles and nans and pops and everyone else. I would love to see it filled to glorify God. And so, church family, I want to thank you for being patient. I want to thank you for growing with us and allowing us to make mistakes when we do, and being very forgiving and helping us all along the way. And let me say this, we're going to get through this. We're going to come through this together, and with God's wisdom and God's help, we're doing this one step at a time. So let me just recap very quickly. The church building from Sunday to Sunday closed until September. No events happening in the church building whatsoever until September. This will give our church time to prepare and get the proper protocols in place to help make our services the safest they can be in this time. But we will continue our online service at 10 a.m. on Facebook and on YouTube, and we will, starting on the 12th, weather permitting, we'll be starting our drive-in services, our open-air services at 4 p.m. at a location I can't tell you just yet, but we'll announce in a few days when everything is confirmed. And so I want to make you aware of these changes. I want to make you aware of these updates. And again, I want to thank you for supporting the church, supporting our ministry, and holding on, even when it's been tough at times. Again, I want to let you know we're praying for you. And church family, I love you, and I am looking forward to seeing you on that parking lot at a very safe distance and waving to you. I know you're all talking about Levi and Lydia and how Lydia is growing so fast, and so we're looking forward to seeing you. We want to do it in a safe manner, a manner that's good for everyone who attends. And so again, encourage you to pray for us, encourage you to commit to meeting together when we have the opportunity to do so, and committing to praying for our church and our community. Thank you, Calvary Church Family, for this announcement. I probably went on way longer than I should, but I just haven't talked to you in ages. And so good to see you again, and hope to see you soon on our drive-in service. Take care.